It's back day. It is the best day of the week. Honestly, I love back day so much. So, not much to say about that. Yesterday was push day, so we're doing a pull day today. I had my refeed as well. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of went a little over my calories yesterday. But totally fine because we are going to reduce the caloric intake even more today. The deficit's going to increase regardless. We're going to now go from 2,600 to 2,500 calories for each day for the next couple of weeks and just see how we feel from there. It's normal to feel a little bit more fuller as well and look a little bit more fuller after a refeed. Totally normal. Because I had such a huge refeed yesterday, no breakfast or pre workout snack for today. We're going to do a fasted workout because we're very heavily carbed up from the night before. We're just going to do a coffee just to kind of get our energy up and kind of wake up a little bit because I am feeling a little tired. It is currently 5:42. I decided to sleep in a little bit because it's my day off from work. I realize I didn't have to go to the gym as early as I normally would. Plus, you know, around this time on a Saturday, the gym isn't too crowded. I don't think it should be. So we'll see how it goes, though. Let's get this workout in. No more dilly dallying. We're just gonna go get a coffee, and after that, we're gonna hit the road. All right. Alrighty, so no car rant today. I kind of wanted to do a voiceover and switch things up a little bit. We got to the gym around 6 a.m. Normally I hit 3 sets of this, and I did, just my camera wasn't able to get the first two clips for some reason. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. That's my dumbass's fault, but it's okay. Doing 3 sets of lat pull downs, heavy weight, for 6 to 12 reps, pushing for hypertrophy, making sure we're really getting that contraction and squeeze at the bottom. I believe lat pull downs are a non-negotiable in terms of training your back. So don't ever skip them. They're really important. All right, moving on to close grip lat pull downs. I was able to get the footage for all the workouts after this. I wanted to make sure you guys could see that each set that I perform is basically identical with one another in terms of repetition and form and just pushing to overall failure. On an unrelated note, a question I get asked often is, why do I work out at Planet Fitness? And to be quite honest, it's affordable, it's reliable, and you can make great progress at any gym you work out at. I don't know why there's a common misconception where people believe that you need to work out at specific gyms to make specific types of gains or progress. If you know what you're doing in terms of muscular growth and training for hypertrophy, you don't need a fancy gym to build overall muscle. I've actually had people tell me in the past that if they worked out at Gold's Gym or if they had a membership at Gold's Gym, they would be 250 pounds lean and that they would be super massive and just look like a beast. You can work out at an S tier gym all you want, but if your nutrition and regimen isn't on point, I can guarantee you what's holding you back is not the gym that you're currently working out at. People tend to forget that your physique is primarily going to heavily consist of diet and diet alone. All right, and after this, we're moving on to some standing upright rows for the front delts and the side delts as well. And you might be wondering, well, isn't 4 working sets too many, or is that just overkill or too much volume? Not necessarily, because the deltoids in general are a very small and stubborn muscle, and they can take a lot more exertion and recover a lot quicker than the other muscles of the body. Also, side note, I didn't really want to talk about this, but it's something that I couldn't help but overhear while working out. There were a lot of people at my gym open mouth coughing and sneezing a lot. And look, I'm all for going to the gym and pushing myself and, being consistent and all that. But when you go to the gym sick and infected, you're putting others at risk to get sick and infected as well. And not just that, but you're also doing a great disservice to your body in terms of recovery. Remember, you grow outside of the gym. So if you're coming to the gym infected and sick and not at your top tier health, you're going to severely underperform. So it's a little counterintuitive to even show up to the gym in the first place, to put your body through a high exertion workout where you're going to tire yourself out even more and possibly delay your recovery in terms of your illness. Like I said, I'm all for coming to the gym and being consistent, crushing your goals. I think it's very, very inspiring. But if you are sick, please stay home so that way you don't get others sick, and that way you can come back feeling stronger and recover a lot faster. So we're just about done with these 4 working sets, and next we're moving on to our seated chest supported rows. Remember to adjust the seat at an adequate height for these rows, because the last thing you want is your shoulders tensing up and going too high when performing this exercise. Again, 6 to 12 reps, 3 sets in total, pushing till absolute failure. Some people like to boast that they can lift a lot of weight on chest supported rows, and this might sound a little suspect, but when you're grabbing from the top instead of the base, it is a little bit easier to perform this exercise. So if you're grabbing from the top of the lever or handle, there's more leverage for you to pull. It makes the exercise a lot easier to perform. So when you're doing this, if you actually want to make this workout a lot harder than it actually is, you're supposed to grab closer to the base so you have less leverage to pull on, thus relying more on overall strength rather than leverage. Remember guys, don't be an ego lifter. If you can't lift the weight properly with adequate form, lower the weight so that way you can perform the exercise properly. Alrighty, moving on to the most goated and my favorite back workout of all time, the underhand grip row. This machine, I can go on for hours of how I love this machine. The contraction, the pump itself, the way it really works out and isolates your lats and your back. Every Planet Fitness should have one of these. It's a shame that not all of them do. But if you find one of these at your local Planet Fitness or just your gym in general, make sure you use these. This is such an underrated back workout and just such an underrated machine overall. The amazing pump and contraction you can get from one of these is insane. Honestly, one of my favorite machines of all time. To be quite frank, I'm not gonna lie, I do favor this machine a little bit more than the other ones. I'm very, very biased towards this one because the pump I get from this is absolutely insane. Immaculate pump, immaculate experience with this machine. I never have any complaints towards it. It's always a 12 out of 10 every time I use it. So yeah, definitely make this a staple in your next back routine. I promise and guarantee you will not regret it. We're going to be really hitting failure on these 3 sets in total, 6 to 12 reps till failure, pushing as hard as we can, as heavy as we can, until we can't pick that weight up anymore. And next we're going to move on to some seated preacher curls. We're doing 3 sets of this till failure. Real quick, somebody had asked me as well, what do I use to track my calories on a day-to-day basis? And to be quite frank, I just do it all in my head. I'm just kidding. No, what I actually do is I use my Fitness Pal mainly because it's free. It's easy to use. The user interface for my Fitness Pal is very easy to follow. It's not that complicated, and they pretty much have almost every food you can think of on that app. So it's almost impossible to not be able to track your calories accurately using that app. But yeah, I use my Fitness Pal. I've been using that app for quite some time. Honestly, it's the best one out there. This is not sponsored. It's just the easiest one to use, easiest to track. And it's very, very simple, and you can pay for the pro version, but I use the free one because you don't really need to pay for the subscription to get the full benefits of using MyFitnessPal. If you know what you're doing in terms of tracking your macros and you're already kind of used to tracking on a day-to-day basis, MyFitnessPal is the way to go. It's free, reliable. Again, not sponsored. I've just been using this one for so long. It's my go-to and never had any issues with it at all. That wraps up our preacher curls. Again, 3 sets till absolute failure. And now we're moving on to our hammer curls, which is our last bicep workout and our last workout of the day. Now for hammer curls, we're going to be doing 2 sets and 2 sets only. A lot of people tend to state that hammer curls are not efficient for targeting bicep growth. However, I disagree. I believe that targeting hammer curls will make the brachialis a lot bigger, thicker, and just overall make your biceps look more huge and bigger from the front, and just completing that overall size. And remember, whenever you're doing any type of curl, whether it be bicep curls or hammer curls, make sure you're not swinging. Swinging is for playgrounds. That's going to be detrimental to your overall development in the gym and overall hypertrophy training. Your form goes a long, long way. So make sure you're not swinging and relying on momentum to move the weight, but the actual muscle contracting as well. For overall growth, mind to muscle connection is going to be your best friend. One last little side note, you might be wondering why I'm always wearing a sweater or a long sleeve in the gym. And the main reason why is because I just kind of see the pump as a reward and something to look forward to towards the end of the workout. So it's kind of like a little reward for myself to be like, okay, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this pump and checking out the results of the workout towards the end. And let's cut to me in the car because we're pretty much done here. So that pretty much wraps it up for today. As you can tell by the footage, the pump was pumping today. We got an amazing sick-ass back and bicep pump. Looking a little bit more fuller and more puffier, but that's completely normal when you're doing a refeed. You're going to look a little bit more bloated the next day, a little bit more fuller.
But, you know, as the weeks progress and the days progress again, and we continue that deficit, you'll see the weight fluctuation go back to normal, and you'll see that puffiness kind of reside and kind of diminish as the days go by. But it was overall an amazing pump. I got a sick ass workout. The gym was a little crowded, unfortunately, but it is what it is. You know, as long as we get the workout done, that's all that matters at the end of the day. Tomorrow is leg day. No promises or guarantees on a video. You know, we'll see how we feel. But the cut's been going great. Striations are there, looking vascular, looking a lot leaner as the days go by compared to when I first started. And yeah, overall just happy with the results, and we'll see how far we'll go on this cut and how far we'll progress as the days go by. And yeah, that pretty much wraps it up for today. I'm gonna go home, get some food in me, edit this little guy together, you know, all that jazz. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Alrighty.